She fumes as a Chinese-owned tanker was hit in the U.S.-Iran crossfire near the Strait of Hormuz. Is Beijing still just a bystander after its first tanker is attacked? Will this strike on China-linked vessel force Xi to move beyond warnings and edge closer to entering the war? Beijing issued a sharp warning after the mystery attack that set the Chinese ship on fire as Beijing's energy lifeline gets dragged into the line of fire. Trump heading into a pivotal China meeting. Is he trying to lure Xi into the conflict, or betting that a rattled Beijing will quietly concede more at the bargaining table? China voiced deep concern after a Chinese-linked tanker was attacked near the Strait of Hormuz on May 4, amid already elevated tensions in the region. Beijing confirmed that Chinese nationals were aboard the vessel at the time of the incident, according to official statements cited in local and international media reports. China said no crew casualties had been reported following the attack, stressing that all personnel were accounted for despite damage to the ship. The vessel came under attack near the United Arab Emirates coast, close to Mina Sakr, as tensions between Iran and the United States soared in the Gulf waters. Chinese media reported that this was the first known attack on a Chinese oil tanker since the Iran-US conflict and related war in the region began, highlighting the incident's significance for Beijing. The ship is believed to be the Marshall Islands flag products and chemical tanker JV Innovation, according to maritime security sources cited by Reuters and other outlets. The vessel was marked China owner and crew on its hull at the time of the attack, images and reports from the scene indicated. Maritime security sources said the vessel reported a fire on its deck following the incident and issued distress alerts to nearby ships. Crew members reportedly believed the ship was hit by shells or possibly a drone, though investigators have not yet confirmed the exact weapon used. JV Innovation's chief engineer has said it remains unclear who attacked the vessel, underscoring the ongoing uncertainty over attribution and responsibility. The incident comes just ahead of Chinese President Xi Jinping's planned meeting with President Trump next week, adding pressure to already sensitive talks on the Iran conflict and energy security. China has urged diplomacy and called for the reopening of shipping routes in the Strait of Hormuz, emphasizing the need to restore safe maritime passage as soon as possible. This stance comes as China remains one of the biggest buyers of sanctioned Iranian oil exports, making uninterrupted access through Hormuz vital to its energy supplies. China's foreign ministry also opposed the May 4 attack on the UAE's Fujairah oil terminal, condemning strikes on energy infrastructure and calling for restraint from all sides. Beijing has been seeking stability in the Gulf to secure critical global energy supply routes, repeatedly warning that disruptions in Hormuz pose risks to the world economy. During his talks with Iran's Abbas Araghchi, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang, he called for an immediate end to hostilities and pressed for a prompt resumption of shipping traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. has significantly accelerated diplomatic engagement with China in the wake of Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi's visit to Beijing, trying to recalibrate its position in the volatile regional landscape. The push came immediately after Araghchi met with top Chinese diplomat Wang, as both sides reviewed their coordination on Middle East security and economic ties. Just one day after that meeting, a bipartisan delegation of U.S. senators arrived in Beijing, underscoring Washington's desire to keep channels with China open on multiple fronts. Discussions on May 7 focused on trade, regional stability, and broader U.S. China relations, with both sides trying to balance competition and limited cooperation. The timing of the senatorial visit fueled speculation that the U.S. is concerned about China's growing diplomatic role in Iran and the wider Gulf crisis. Analysts say Trump is eager to secure some measurable progress with Tehran before his scheduled May 14 to 15 summit with Xi, hoping a quieter regional backdrop will improve the atmosphere. Leading the U.S. delegation was Republican Senator Steve Daines, a close Trump ally, who emphasized continuity in the administration's foreign policy priorities. Daines stressed the need for stability and mutual respect between the world's two largest economies, arguing that predictability benefits global markets and security. The senator also expressed hope that the upcoming Trump-Xi summit could revive major commercial ties that have been constrained by tariffs and geopolitical friction. Daines hinted at potential new Boeing aircraft purchases by China, noting that the country has not placed a major order from the U.S. firm in nearly 9 years. He also acknowledged China's role in Middle East diplomacy, specifically referencing the ongoing Hormuz crisis and Beijing's contacts with Tehran and other regional actors. Reports indicate that the U.S. has been pressing China to use its influence with Iran to help de-escalate tensions and facilitate a more stable maritime environment. The senator described Wang Yi's meeting with Araghchi as evidence of Beijing's active engagement in shaping the diplomatic track around the Gulf standoff. The visit marked Senator Daines' second trip to China since Trump returned to office last year. reinforcing the White House's emphasis on high-level back-channel diplomacy. Soon after the talks, Wang said China or US relations had faced many twists and disruptions, reflecting the turbulence in bilateral ties over trade, technology, and security. The Chinese foreign minister added that, despite the obstacles, the two countries have managed to maintain an overall level of stability in their relationship. On May 6, Iran's foreign minister spoke of what he described as a new era of cooperation with Beijing, signaling that Tehran now wants to deepen its post-war strategic alignment with China. Abbas Araghchi made the declaration after holding talks with his Chinese counterpart Wang in Beijing, giving the message added diplomatic weight at a time of major regional and global realignment. Araghchi also said that Iran after the war is different from Iran before the war, a remark that suggests Tehran sees the conflict as a turning point that has reshaped both its posture and its partnerships.
Our Chinese friends also believe that Iran after the war is different from Iran before the war. Its international status has been elevated, and it has proven its capability and authority. Therefore, a new era of cooperation between Iran and other countries lies ahead. We reviewed the current issues. We discussed the topics related to the war and how to end it, the ongoing negotiations, issues concerning Iran's peaceful nuclear program, discussions about sanctions, and all bilateral matters. The issue of the Strait of Hormuz was one of our serious topics of discussion, and we also addressed the necessity of respecting the rights of the Islamic Republic of Iran, along with all existing viewpoints.
China's top financial regulator has reportedly instructed major state-owned banks to halt new loans to several Iranian-linked refiners, tightening pressure on their financing. The move covers 5 refining companies that were recently sanctioned by the United States, according to Bloomberg's reporting. The National Financial Regulatory Administration issued the guidance to leading lenders shortly before May 1st. Banks were told to stop issuing new yuan-denominated loans to the targeted refiners, but to keep existing credit lines in place for now. Lenders were also asked to review their broader relationships with major refining groups, including Hongli Petrochemicals Dalian Refinery. At the same time, China's Commerce Ministry publicly urged Chinese firms to ignore unilateral US sanctions and continue normal trade based on Chinese law. In April, the United States imposed sanctions on Hongli Petrochemical for buying billions of dollars worth of Iranian crude oil in violation of US curbs. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has warned Chinese banks to exercise extreme caution over Iran-related transactions. Washington has also threatened secondary sanctions against foreign banks that facilitate Iranian trade, adding to the compliance risks. These sanctions have reportedly disrupted crude deliveries and fuel sales for some of the affected refiners.